As a messenger of God, one of the biggest problems that I run into when delivering messages is the amount of people who I give messages to that don't believe God. Not that don't believe in God, but that don't believe God. See, it's a difference between believing in God and believing God. One of the saddest things ever, one of the most frustrating things ever is having a person that you've never wronged constantly accuse you by their actions, by what they say, and etc. Have you feel as though you have. I ain't even did nothing to you for you to be walking around here treating me like I'm a suspect. Or I ain't even did nothing to you for you to be walking around here treating me like I'm a perpetrator, or and etc. Like, why am I on trial as if I wronged you when I've never done? In fact, I've did the opposite for you. That is how God feels when you do not believe God, okay? God is like, I gave you life and you got the audacity not to believe me? With the life that I've given you, you have the audacity not to believe me and the plans. And just like I said in Jeremiah 29:11, just like the plans, I created plans for you, for the life that I gave you, for the life that you didn't ask me for, but I gave you. And because of worldly things, worldly people, you having the audacity to be able to fellowship with other humans, I don't mind you interacting with others, but if it's going to cost you when it comes down to believing in me, because see, the people that you deal with, the things that you do in life, it shouldn't take away your belief in me. And you believing in me. Life is only hard when you don't believe in the things that God say about it. When you don't believe God and the things that he say in your life, it makes your spiritual warfare extremely harder than it has to be. When you don't believe God, it makes miracles at the beginning of them seem like they are literally attacks from God. Because you deal with losses personally, you take them personal. You deal with being out of your comfort zone personally. You deal with dependence, total dependence on God, the whole letting go and letting him concept, totally different. You deal with even the removal of people in your life. Cain, when he slew his brother Abel, out of jealousy. And jealousy is so because you can have, if not the same, better for your own life if you learn to do right by the one that gave it to you. It was ignorant. But fast forward, that's another subject. Cain slew his brother, and his consequence from God was not for him to be slew in return, but for him to live out the rest of his natural life without God in it. And one would argue, oh, well, that ain't no consequence. It is. Because if you know scripture like how you should and not based off of what somebody tell you on every worship day or whatever, then you'll be able to understand and recognize that Cain's life got extremely hard, okay, the moment God cursed him and told him that he would turn his face from him all the days of his life, right? Everything that he needed in his natural life, he had to work for it. He had to work hard for it. That is where the whole marrying or having multiple wives began. That he had to create multiple. Listen, and eventually, even with all of that, watch this. Even with all of that, his bloodline still became extinct. I'm gonna need people to start being careful. And the reason why I say this is because it makes no sense that you'll put more trust in believing your fellow humans. You'll put more trust in believing people you ain't got no business trusting and believing in. But when it comes down to believing what God says about your life, you struggle with that. Why, Shakita? Why, Miracle Hunter Shakita, do you constantly speak on the topic when it comes down to belief system? Because that's my purpose. It's the area, can I be transparent? It's the area of my life where I'm constantly being tested at the most. Why? Because I have to be able to help those that I'm assigned to. So I'm assigned to help people with their belief system. And there's no way God gonna have me be out here being anointed with helping people with their belief system. And I don't know a thing about belief system myself, okay? So trust me, I understand how it works. I know how hard it is when the enemy be playing on your mental. I understand how hard it is when you decide you want to walk by sight and not by faith. I understand how hard it is when the situation seems unbearable and it feels like there is no way out. But I want you to understand, if you would just change your mindset and believe God, not just believe in him, but believe God. Believe everything that he says, regardless of if it don't look like it. Listen, I am a person that has lost every single thing several times over and got it back because of my believing in him and the things that he has told me. No matter how many people walked away or walked out or had a nerve to call me crazy, I'll be crazy until the day I leave this earth, if that's what it's gonna mean for me to keep on believing God and what he say about my life. Okay? I suggest you do the same. As always, I love y'all. Somebody needed to hear this today. Somebody needed to hear this today. Somebody is hanging on by a thin thread. I'm glad you logged on to this app. I'm glad you found this page. And I'm glad you found this message. I love you. God loves you. And bye-bye.